The second consecutive time for Clamp, but he gets spun on lap 1. They're still not done banging doors, though, here off at turn 2. And, oh, that might be a blocker. 43 is around. Kyle Peddle is involved. And surely enough, that's going to be a caution, and this wreck has continued.
And you could see a great perspective that we had from high above when it happened, how once they all started spinning, there was just no way through. Here's another look. You can see it develop with Peddle pushed to the outside at 1 and 2, gets hooked by the 43 machine right there. And once those two got together, I mean, it was everybody from about 15th position on back that had nowhere to go. Trees get into each other. I mean, you know, we've done short track racing, Keegan, in the past with this series, but I mean, there is so little room, and we got more guys stacking up now.
I love Keegan's look. He's just laughing at this. He's saying, thank goodness I'm not in here. Oh, my goodness. This is chaos out here. The 42 is spun around at Derek Bordeaux. Keegan, you seem pretty happy watching all of this and not taking part in it.
Yeah, I didn't get a very good view out in front, so this is supposed to be a fun race.
It was too boring in the race lead is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I had a teammate behind me, too, so there was no risk.
Another caution flag will come out. We got more cars.
It's not going to work.
Oh, talking about bumping, I mean, Michael, you'll be behind Keegan, so what's the plus minus? Is 2 car lengths too far back to send Keegan, or 3, 4? What's the plus minus on sending him if he's in? Isn't room for him to really get out of the groove either, and what a rotten way for this feature race to start for the Elliott Sadler Esports driver. You can see Brotherton. We talked about that temptation of the bottom being open, and it was Steven Wilson who just entered.
That traffic come into play. Drivers that didn't get spun, and oh, there we get a spin. That is Colin Keister on the inside of that 43 Charlotte Phoenix Toyota. He gets spun the wrong way, and it is just...
But pulled directly in front of Salas. We take a look at the replay. It all starts with just a touch, and then race control is going to throw the yellow because your leaders are coming, but right here, he stopped, he rolls. That's your leader. The 19 with big front and back end damage, and by the time the...
Excuse me, that's Keegan Leahy.
An early slowdown, and there is the 45 machine up against the outside of the tail of the tape. Keegan is the red number 45. Remember those red numbers for a past series champ? You see he's all on his own, but right there, 25 into the 17, 17 into the 45. There's no defense
in front of him on Brian Mercurio's bar visuals machine. But Taylor Hurst, you can see, just trying to... Oh, and that's what you don't want to see, having trouble in turns 3 and 4.
It is a huge pile up early at Daytona. Can Hurst survive? I think he does. We were on board with him when it broke out in front, and I believe the driver, the 3, let's see how this happened. It's the 88 machine leading that middle line charge. It's Brian LaPrade right there, just a little bit out of sorts, and it was the 69 machine up the road to Colin Bowden, who was just a little bit slower, didn't really look like much of a block. The William Byron Esports teammates trying to work from that higher line to the bottom, and just the slightest of touches gone wrong, Blake. They were trying to step down the hill. They were up in the middle because they were passing slower lapped cars. So that line snaked to the outside.
Awfully strong right there with Femi Olap pushing him. And oh, we got a spinner in the back. Casey Kerwin around.
Caution quickly off of the restart. They scatter behind. It is only Kerwin, I believe. Lots of other drivers using that wide backstretch to avoid further
play, Evan. And of course, it's always so hard when you're in this series. 90% of the races you call in iRacing, when you see someone that's this sideways, they don't save it. And man, did Ray Alfala come oh so close to getting involved in that one. Casey Kerwin, 90 degrees.
And a caution flag for a spin behind. He avoided it with the William Byron Esports duo, and then Justice came in late. Let's watch that 17.
Again, you could see just sensitive bumps and how it gets him out of shape. Honeycutt gets out of the way, and then Justice, it looked like he was aiming for Honeycutt, but he got hit from behind.
Out of that one, and spun collecting Mercurio. Let's watch.
And you see right there, Alfala been so aggressive and just gets right in front of Ottinger, who tried to get out of the way, may have had some help and contact. And
comes the 75, Abusa 3 wide. Femi Olat steps down, though. Grant Bowen goes with, there's the accident. Malik Ray in front of the field. A caution before we get to the white flag, and this race is going to overtime. 9 were able to get away with up top, Blake. The 43 and the 7 were not. They're pretty lined up right there. You just get a little bit out of line, and it hooked that 7 car right up into the field, and about a half a dozen other race cars get involved, the 24, the 41, and others.
Yeah, that's why it's so good to be out front. Everybody who was working.
Wilson working on the inside to 3 and 4.
To 3 and 4 they go. Garrett Maines, what's he going to do? I believe he'll try to get to the right rear here off of turn number 4. Will Olat be ready for the move? Let's see it.
He looks to the outside. Mains high, Olat low, side by side for the race win at Daytona. 3 wide underneath the photo finish. It is Femi Olat, the sophomore for Clint Boyer Racing, is a first-time winner in the ENascar Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
By 9 1/1000ths of a second.
And he wipes the sweat off his forehead and a huge smile for Femi Olat. They gave him everything he could handle in on. But lap number 1 goes to the 25 up front.
And I think you're going to see that particularly in 3 and 4. Oh, we got a spinner hard in the outside wall and chasing it down the racetrack. A couple more will get involved. It's Dylan Duval who saves it, but you could see the 24 machine of Cody Bias there in the back of the field, and a couple of stragglers. Caden Honeycutt, Nick Shelton get wrapped in.
Trying to fit into a gap that his number 24 Moda Media House Ford Mustang would not fit. There he is on the bottom. Watch the 19 DeSalis coming up the outside. He approaches a slow Kyle Peddle and just tries to jump the line up top. And I mean, the 19 Machida was already there, almost reminiscent, Blake, of what we saw over the weekend.
Winning is Ryan Luza for Exit.
Michael Conti, the second most veteran of drivers, but a spinner off it into turn number 1. It looked like it might have been one of the Williams cars, and it's Donovan Strauss upside down and in the air. It will take a second look.
And you're going to see it right here, Evan. I cannot believe that the first 2 cautions we've had have been getting through the tri-oval into turn number 1, but you see Strauss tries to move up. Dylan Alt's there, perhaps fishtails a little bit, and right there, Strauss is just along for the ride, tries to lock it down.
Another look at how all of this unfolded into the corner. He mentioned it was getting a little bit tight. You can see Dylan Alt in line behind Garrett Maines, maybe a little bit lower as well than what the 20 Machida was expecting. And again, you try to save that car, but the time you realized it was past gone, though, Blake, he's locked it up here, but that thing's got so much speed, and as well with the radius of the corner, you're not avoiding that. A couple of drivers barely squeak through. Some go high, some go low. We talked about the issue with their first car, and this time it caught the 75 of Matt Busa out when Garrett Lowe got loose in 4.
Well, and you see there, Evan, he hit that white line right on the apron, and that is going to do wonders to upset the handling of that race car. Unfortunately, Busa, just an innocent bystander. A nice job from Mike.
On the outside, doesn't really get loose, doesn't really step at a line, but as he comes off the corner here, just lets it go a little bit high, just into the outside wall, and it snapped down. Got the 7, got the 54, and got the 88 of LaPrade, and just as 17th and 18th spot right now, and a couple of drivers way up to the outside. Gas gonna try to slide underneath all these drivers.
Mitchell DeYoung hard into the outside wall. Single car spin, but my goodness, what an impact as Mitchell DeYoung got a little bit sideways off for turn 4, got shuffled out. Believe he got a bad bump, but a hard hit here right at the start-finish line.
Walk down in front of the 3 of Corey Vincent. Let's see it here. Vincent looking to the middle, and I mean, certainly looks like Mitchell wanted to get in there before that gap closed, Blake, or otherwise he was certain to lose more spots.
It was unfortunately on the wrong side of it this time, and have quite a bit of repairs. So we're going to try to get it as fixed much as we can. Maybe we could get some points out of it, but, you know, we'll get a long season. But this is not what I was hoping for, because I felt like we had a really good shot at it.
Feel like anything
as we look at Parker Retzlaff, and the one thing I'm looking at all of these onboards, Evan, is big stack up here and one car to the outside wall. It is Keegan Leahy, Dylan Alt, hard impact with the outside retaining wall. And
Vegas Motor Speedway, we take a second look, Blake, at the reason we're under the yellow this time, and it was Keegan Leahy. He was out of shape the lap before, this time much more severe, and as they scattered to try to get around them, coming together below, they end up 4 wide, and then several drivers into the outside wall.
And Evan, it's so hard when, and man, a hard impact there for Zach Novak into Dallas. They're ripping the top groove. He's going to have a huge run. Bordeaux into the fence. He collects it. They're going to be 3 and 4 wide on the front straightaway. Oh, hard hit for Logan Clampett.
Clampett is destroyed. The caution flag is out, and it is a huge incident. It starts with a 48 of Graham Bolin getting a little bit loose right there, push it up into Derek Bordeaux. Bordeaux ends up in the wall. That's why we're 4 wide here on the front straightaway. And then right there, Clampett trying to come back up from the apron. He probably would have been clear of the 10 Blake if not for a last second push.